Hey everyone, in this video I want to share with you 3 tips that will help you connect with other people. So have you ever met someone who's really good at connecting with other people no matter what situation you put them in? Well, I'm hoping that this video will help you get closer to the same level of connection that those people are on. So the first tip here is to get into the habit of giving rather than taking. So when you're connecting with other people, giving is basically about sharing yourself and your stories and your energy with other people. Whereas taking is it's more like putting all the impetus on the other person to keep the interaction going, rather than kind of just keeping it going on your own by sharing. So taking involves asking too many questions. I'm sure we've all been in that situation where we're talking to someone and we kind of get the vibe that they want to keep the conversation going, so they just keep asking a lot of questions. After a while, it gets draining, right? Because it's taking. All they're doing is taking a bunch of social energy from you, and they're not really giving you any of their own. So this is something that you want to avoid as much as you can. Now, I'm not saying you should never ask questions. Questions are a great way to kind of connect with other people, but you don't want to ask too many. So there's a fine line there, and you want to kind of, if you can, get into the habit more of sharing than taking. And I don't necessarily mean sharing information about yourself, as that can also be draining for the other person if you end up making the conversation all about you instead of them. When I say sharing here, I mean more of kind of creating an environment for you and the other person where you can connect by sharing stories or sharing things about the environment you're in, or even just sharing observations about the other person and things that you like about them. So this would be kind of like sharing a compliment with the person, or noticing that or wherever you're at, maybe there's a common reason you're there, so talking about that. Maybe if it's a concert, talking about the band that you're seeing, or that sort of thing. You're kind of just sharing on a level that both of you can connect with, rather than just telling the other person all about yourself or asking them a bunch of questions to learn about them. So this also works in texting, especially when you're meeting somebody new and trying to get to know them. You do not want to fall into the trap of asking a ton of questions just to keep the conversation going. And ladies, I'm sure you've been on the receiving end of this more times than you can count, because guys often feel like they need to keep asking questions to keep a conversation going, but that's not true. So instead of asking questions, just make statements. You can make observations about the way things are, or the way your day is going, or maybe just share a funny joke, whatever it may be. Statements are usually better than questions. So on to the second tip. So the second tip is about being genuinely curious and interested in other people. Now this one you obviously cannot fake. You have to develop that genuine curiosity and be interested in the other person enough to want to know about them. But when you start developing that genuine curiosity for other people in general, it's probably one of the easiest ways to connect with others. Because when you're curious about someone, you're naturally going to start practicing some of these things that make it easier to connect. You'll ask great questions, and not too many. You'll ask great questions to connect with them. When they are talking about something they're passionate about, you'll want to know more about it. Or in the first place, you'll even be curious to know what they're passionate about. Basically, curiosity is the starting point for connection. Without curiosity, it's a lot harder to connect with people, because you're not going to have any desire to get to know them. So curiosity is pretty much the foundation of the household that is connecting with other people. Anyway, the third thing is to aim to have a good time in the presence of other people. So this one, kind of like number 2, is kind of hard to fake. You basically want to create a personality where you just enjoy connecting with other people and you want to have a good time with them. You want to create a fun experience for you and them. And this one is especially powerful on dates. I mean, every time I go on a new date, or a date with a new woman, that's my main goal, is to have a good time with her. That is literally my only goal. I don't even really care about anything else. I just want to have a good time, and in doing so, hopefully she'll have a good time as well. Odds are that if you're enjoying yourself, they're usually going to get some fun out of it as well, because you'll be doing stuff that you both can enjoy, or at the very least, they'll be able to kind of vibe off of your energy. So aiming to have fun with other people is very powerful. It's one of those things that kind of just makes you memorable, because not many people are like that when you get down to it. I mean, think about that. How many people do you know who have that cheery vibe to them, where they're always trying to lighten the mood and make things fun with other people? You don't know many of them, and the ones that you do know stand out because it's a great way of connecting with other people. You just have to do it from a place that's real and authentic. So create that desire to create a great time with other people. It's kind of like being a bright light in the world for other people, and it's a lot of fun to do. So anyway, to sum this video up, the 3 tips for connecting with other people are to give, not take, and number 2, to be genuinely curious about others, and number 3, to aim to have a good time or to have fun with other people. If you put those 3 things into practice, it makes it so much easier to connect with others, and it'll make your life so much more fun and enjoyable going forward. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!